Welcome to It's Time TV. I'm Aaron. I'm joining you from the Brutally Honest MMA show. It's my first time here on It's Time TV, and I'm going to be doing a UFC preview show, and we're going to be taking a look at some of the fights that are happening this weekend, some of the fighting betting odds, and some of my favourites and some of my picks. So let's get into that. Let's go have a look.
So here's to the fighters, the fans on the game. Here's to the blood, sweat and tears and the fame. And here's to Az and Key, you ready to go on the Brutally Honest MMA show.
Let's just jump straight into it here today. So let's have a look. I'm just going to start from the main card, and we've got Mike Perry versus Daniel Rodriguez on the first card. Now, Mike Perry's had his ups and downs, and he's quite a character outside the octagon just as much as he is inside the octagon. And I do slightly favour Perry. He's more entertaining. I find him a bit of a character. Very unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to get with him. I like in the Mickey Gall fight that he did display some of his grappling skills. And he did have that grappling bout with Iaquinta. And he won by decision, which, you know, considering Perry is a boxer, that's impressive. Iaquinta, you know, he's got good wrestling. So to beat Iaquinta and Mickey Gall's got strong jiu-jitsu. I feel like Perry does improve. He's got significant improvement. Now, the Tim Means fight didn't quite go his way, but I feel like he's going to bounce back against Rodriguez. Now, Rodriguez is no joke. His record is 13-2, and we'll have a look at Perry. He's 14-7. Now, Perry comes in as a welterweight, but he's quite known for missing weight, so he could come in heavy. He's a big welterweight, and but he's a small middleweight, so that's why he hasn't moved up to middleweight. But he tends to weigh in quite heavy. Rodriguez is 34. Perry is 29. 5'10", reach 71 inch. We've got a 74 inch reach for Rodriguez, and he is 6'1". So physically, Rodriguez is the bigger guy. He's you know, got a longer reach. He's 6'1", and he's lost his last fight by decision. But in his last 5 fights, he's 1-4. He's won his last 4, and only lost the 1. So let's take a look at the betting odds on that one. So Perry versus Rodriguez. And obviously, what I like about we're using Marathon Bet for this is we've got the last 5 and last 5 here. I do recommend it. Saves you having all the tabs open like I do and checking Wikipedia, checking Tapology. You know, have it all in one. If you're looking to put some bets on, you're looking for those trebles, then get on Marathon Bet. I do recommend it. Not affiliated in any way, shape, or form. It's just the one that I like to use. Now, looking at Perry, he is the underdog coming into this fight at 2.44, and Rodriguez coming in at 1.54. Now, I do feel like that is quite harsh on Perry. I think the reason why that's probably coming in over at that is possibly because Perry is unpredictable. A good Perry on his night, I feel like, is unstoppable. And then other nights, he doesn't turn up. And that was apparent in the Tim Means fight. Now, moving on to the next fight on the card, we've got Ansaroff versus Mackenzie Dern. Just before, as much as I think Rodriguez has got the edge, I'm leaning towards Perry on that one. So let's look at Ansaroff versus Dern. And we've got the rankings open here as well, so we can just check some of the rankings. Now, didn't bother on that one because they both unranked. On the women's, we've got Ansaroff, who's number 5, and Mackenzie Dern, who's number 11. Now, Ansaroff is the seasoned fighter on this one, being around 10-6 record, 35, coming in at 5'5" with a 65-inch reach. Fights out American top team, so got a good fight team, and she's got the experience. She's fought in the UFC quite a while now. She's won 4 of the last 5, and she's got some names in there: Angela Hill, Marquez, Gadelia, and Mackenzie Dern is up and coming. Well, I say up and coming, but she's flying through the UFC division at the moment. She's also won 4 of the last 5, only losing to Amanda Rebus, and that was in 2019. She had a really good 2020, smashing out 3 wins and 2 by submission. So let's look at the stats here. So 63-inch reach, and she's 5'4" and 28. Now I'm leaning towards Mackenzie Dern. We'll have a look at the betting odds on this one. There we go. Now, as you can see, we've got the last 5 here, and Antrov is the slight favourite, 1.833, and Mackenzie Dern 1.95. Now, for me, it's Mackenzie Dern all day. She has the better grappling. She's a black belt, jiu-jitsu black belt. Now, if I remember, I think Antrov is a purple belt. Yeah, she's a purple belt. She does have the 3rd-degree black belt in Taekwondo. And I do know that Mackenzie Dern's striking is coming along, as we saw in the last couple of fights. It's been improving and improving, so that's good. But jiu-jitsu is just another level. And I don't think Antrov has got an answer for that if it goes to the ground. So my feeling is towards Mackenzie Dern. I can see her going up the rankings this weekend. So that's my thoughts on that fight. I'll go Mackenzie Dern on that one. Now we also have Smiling Sam Alvey versus Julian Marquez, and love Sam. Great personality in the sport. He's 33, 14, and 1. So that's 33 wins, 14 losses, and 1. Is it draw? I think it's draw. So the issue here is Sam Alvey's had a lot of fights, and he's not got a great last couple of 5 fights. He's lost quite a few on the bounce now. He's 34, coming in at 6'2" with a 76-inch reach. Marquez is 8-2. He's 30, 6'2" with a 72-inch reach. So there's not much any. Sam Alvey's got the slight reach advantage. If he can use it well, that's definitely an advantage there. Now, Marquez, he's not got the most experience in the sport, but he is 4 years younger, not as battle worn. And Sam Alvey he's been around, he's battle worn. I believe in that. I believe that plays an aspect in your career, especially later in your career. The when you're battle worn, it plays an effect in how you're going to take punches and how you're going to take certain shots. And there's a certain age where I feel like you go past and you're not taking the shots anymore as well as you would have. And if you've taken a lot of damage over the years, then those shots are, they accumulate. Okay, so Sam Alvey, he drew his last fight, and then he lost his last 4. Marquez, obviously, he's lost only 1 in his last 5. So let's take a look at the betting odds on this one. And we've got Alvey coming in at 2.50 and Marquez coming in at 1.52. Now, I'm not surprised there. I feel like those odds are fair for Marquez. He's a younger fighter. He's sharp. Alvey is on a massive skid. Despite having the experience, I don't feel like the experience is going to play much of a role in this fight. Sorry, Sam. Keep on smiling. And we'll move on to Aliscab Perez. Apologies on the pronunciation on that. And I don't think Sam Alvey ranked. Just check. It was light heavyweight. No, none of those fighters are ranked. So Kazarev versus Karl Dorcas. Let's take a look at the stats on this. So we've got Kazarev, who's 30, 5'9", with a 74-inch reach, fighting out of Russia. Karl Dorcas, he's 10-1, and he's 28, 6'3", 75-inch reach, fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, this is a middleweight clash here, and there's not much in the reach, but significant size difference in terms of height. I feel like Dorcas is slightly bigger, but not much in it. Now, Kazarev is 13-0, undefeated. It's his debut fight in the UFC, and Karl Dorcas has only lost to Brendan Allen in the last couple of years. Other than that, he's got a good record, solid fighter. He's 4 in the last 5, and I feel like experience will play a part in this one. I feel like Dorcas lost his debut fight in the UFC, only by decision, not by a knockout or TKO or submission. I feel like the nerves have settled. He bounced back and won his next fight, and I feel like he'll have settled now. With Kazarev, it's his debut, so the nerves will be there. It's his first fight in the UFC, and Karl Dorcas is no joke. He is a legit guy. So, betting odds here, 1.70 for Kazarev, and Karl Dorcas coming in at 2.13. Now, I'm not happy with those odds. I feel like they should be closer. I'm leaning towards Dorcas on that one. And the next fight is Arnold Allen versus Sadiq Yusuf, and this is the co-main event here. I'm really looking forward to this one. It should be a great clash. Just to let you know, and that fight, the middleweight fight between Dorcas and Kazarev, neither fighters are ranked. Now, Arnold Allen is number 10 and Sadiq Yusuf is 11 in the featherweight division. Now, it's a stacked division, as you can see, and both of these fighters are, obviously, I'm backing the Brit, my British buddy, Arnold Allen. Now, love Arnold Allen. He's always his biggest critic. If anyone's got anything to say, he'll be the first to say it. He's 16-1, and he's 27, 5'8", coming in at 5'8", with a 70-inch reach, born out of, fighting out of Suffolk, England, and he's been in the UFC a while now, and he's got a lot of experience. Coming into this fight, he's got like seven odd fights in the UFC now against legit guys like Melendez, being Amakani. You know, these are good guys, and Sadiq Yusuf he's had a few fights in the UFC now as well, but I feel like the experience for Arnold Allen is going to be the difference in this fight. Like seven fights in the UFC, and prior to that, Arnold Allen was fighting in Cage Warriors. That's where he learned his craft as such. And I know Cage Warriors quite well, being from the UK and following a lot of the events, and I think it's a feeder organization now for the UFC. Outside the UFC, Cage Warriors is possibly one of, if not the best organizations outside the UFC. I'd say it's almost up there with Bellator. It is a legit organization with really tough guys across Europe and the world that fight in Cage Warriors. And if you come through the ranks at Cage Warriors, you know those fighters that are signing from that organization they've earned more than earned their right to be in the UFC. It's a great organization. I suggest you check it out on UFC Fight Pass. Great events and great fighters. So, yeah, if you're interested in that, definitely check that out. But I mention it because it just adds to the fact that Arnold Allen has got 7 fights in the UFC. He's undefeated in the UFC, and he's got another 4 or 5 fights in Cage Warriors. And Sadiq Yusuf he's got some good wins there, but very few fights in the UFC compared to Arnold Allen. And I have no idea what these organizations are. Not very familiar with them. Obviously, he's undefeated at amateur level as well. Not knocking any of these guys. I'm just not very familiar with it, so I can't comment. So let's take a look at the betting odds on this. And Arnold Allen is coming in at 2.14. Sadiq Yusuf coming in at 1.69. Feel like that's really harsh, but there we go. And again, last 5 fights, and we know that story. It's going to be a close fight. It's going to be, I think that is going to be fight of the night, possibly. Great fight. Could be fight of the night. Someone's walking away with a bonus on that one, I reckon. I'm leaning towards Arnold Allen being the Brit, but I do feel like his experience is going to be the difference in that fight. Now, onto the main event. Marvin Vettori versus Kevin Holland. Now, originally it was supposed to be Darren Till fighting Vittori, but obviously Darren Till was out with an injury, so up steps Kevin Holland. He took the fight on very short notice. Props to Vittori for accepting the fight, but I don't think it comes without self-preservation. So let me explain. As good as I love fighters, let me just take a drink. I am parched. Second time filming this because the first time I filmed it, messed up really. Didn't have the audio recording. So we're going for round 2. And so, let me explain the self-preservation. Now, some fighters are very against taking fights on short notice. Now, let me explain the self-preservation. Vittori isn't at a level where I feel like he can decline fights and not make someone unhappy in terms of the boss and get away with it like some fighters can. He's in a position at the moment where he's headlining a fight, so there's self-preservation. It's his name on the posters. It's his name in the big lights. It's his name plastered everywhere. His face on the posters. His face is everywhere in the promotion. Now, are you going to give up that opportunity to headline? No, you're not. You're going to take a fight on short notice, and I don't think he would have took this fight if he wasn't headlining. If it was a fight night and he was co-main event or a bit further down, I don't think he's taking this fight. I think Holland is going to be a difficult fight for Vittori. I feel like if they keep it on the feet, let's take a look at the stats, because Kevin Holland has got a crazy reach, 81 inches, 6'3", 28, and 21 and 6 on his record. Vittori 16 and 3, sorry, and he's 6 foot, 74 inch reach, and 27. Now, Vittori isn't known for being a grappler, so it's a possibility that he's going to keep it on his feet and keep it standing. Now, I do feel like Holland is a crazy guy on the feet. He's got that crazy 81 inch reach. I feel like he's been the more active fighter in the last year. He's fought 5 times. I think he's only fought twice. So I do feel like that plays an impact in how the fight goes. I know we saw a different Kevin Holland against Derek Brunson. Didn't take the fight too seriously. I know he got a lot of criticism for it, but I loved it. I love he brings his personality to the fight. And yeah, people think he was joking around. I don't think he was joking around. He was making a joke of the situation that he found himself in. and that's the kind of guy he is. I love those kinds of fighters. We saw it with Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva made a mockery of people using that in the cage, is what excelled him to those next levels. Nate and Nick Diaz do it. Loads of fighters do it, and let them be them. That's what distinguishes them from other people. It's great to see. Don't discourage it, please don't. It's part of the sport. We need personality in the sport. Don't kill it. Don't let him. Yeah, just don't kill it. I enjoy it. Someone does. So I know he had a very disappointing performance against Brunson, but I feel like Kevin Holland is going to bounce back. I feel like the majority of the fight is going to be kept on the feet unless Vettori decides that is the game plan to beat Kevin Holland. But I feel like Holland is going to be a bit more active in this fight, and hopefully he defends any takedowns that come his way, and we'll see a more exciting and a better fight than the last outing. So let's take a look at the betting odds on this one. I think from what I remember seeing, 3.45 for Kevin Holland, and Vittori coming in at 1.32. I feel like that is I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's the fairest betting odds that I've seen. Like, Holland is a lot better than a 3.45. Obviously, let's take a look at the last 5. So apart from the Brunson fight, it's 1-1-1. So he's rocking a 4-5 in his last 5, and Vittori is rocking a 4-5 as well. Now, what are the rankings in this middleweight clash? So Vittori is number 6. He was fighting number 5, but he's taking a risk and fighting number 10, which is Kevin Holland. Now, like I was saying before, it's self-preservation. He's not fighting number 10 because it's a charity match. He's fighting number 10 because it's his name in the lights, and he wants to preserve that momentum. He wants to fight, and he wants his name to be recognised, and he doesn't want wait any longer, and it's an opportunity. You're headlining. Take that opportunity, take the fight, and good on Vittori for taking it anyway. There's some fighters that want to took it. He has taken it, but not without good reason. So good on all parties, really. I feel like it's good for Holland, good for Vittori. He's got his name on an headlining fight, and good for Holland bouncing back quickly. Hopefully, if he does win, that sets him back up for another good fight in the future. So let's take a look at some of the fights, and I'll give you some of my trebles here. So I like that idea of Perry, Dane, and Kevin Holland, and I also like Dane, Allen, and Holland for 2 good trebles there. If I was going for I'd go for all of them. I'll go Perry, Dane, Marquez, Dukas, Arnold Allen, and Kevin Holland. They're my picks for the main card. That's who I'm going with. And with that, I think we'll leave it there. And thank you for joining us on It's Time TV. And my name's Aaron. See you later.